Welcome to the Support the Spectrum channel. This is the first of many long-form sit-down videos, and we are going to be starting just how I started my TikTok journey. The first video I made on TikTok was this. It was me shouting out neurodivergent creators, and it's really funny looking back because I had maybe 20 followers. This idea that I was shouting out creators to send people to their channel was just kind of funny. I was really pretty much doing it for my local people, my family, my friends who were following me, but I still considered that to be important because Support the Spectrum is about education and spreading information about the neurodivergent community and neurodiversity affirming practices, specifically in the speech therapy world, but it's also about amplifying the voices of neurodivergent people. So I'm gonna shout out my favorite creators today that I've learned so much from, and hopefully you can gain something from them too. If you're looking for accounts to follow, I'm gonna give you the reasons why to follow these accounts. So let's begin. I have categorized these accounts into reasons why you should follow them. If you're looking for certain supports, I have categorized it and put it into this Google Doc, the link of which is in my bio. Okay, let's get started. The first one I have is at ADHD_love_ on Instagram. I put this account under the categories of relatable skits and humor, support materials, groups, podcasts, apps, consultations, and parents. With this account, you get 2 for the price of 1. Rich and Rox are a neurodivergent couple who are destigmatizing ADHD and autism. This follow feels like a warm, comfortable, understanding hug. It feels like they are leading you on the journey to you accepting yourself. They get really intimate and they get personal, and if there's ever a fear that somebody won't accept certain nuances about you, I really feel like they put those fears to bed in this very parental way. They also have an app and they do live streams for body doubling. Body doubling is a term used to pair with someone while you're doing an activity or an action so that it feels less confrontational. It feels more inviting to do when you're sharing that experience with someone else. So of course they're relatable and funny and so real. And they're also parents. So if you're looking for the perspective of someone who's caring for a neurodivergent person, it's a good account to follow. Up next is at a_different_spectrum on Instagram. His name is Martin, and I have been following him for a long time because he gives great resource for sensory activation items. He's also a great resource if you're looking for motivational stories and support. And then he's also part of the LGBTQIA+ community. So if that's what you're looking for in a follow, definitely recommend Martin. Next up, we have at Ashra Louisa on Instagram, formerly known as Autistic Thrifter, and I put under support materials, groups, podcasts, apps, consultations, relatable skits and humor, and also aesthetic. She's really girly and she's chic and she has thrifting videos and cute outfits, and if that's what you're looking to follow, I would highly recommend. This one definitely feels like a parasocial relationship to me because she's so funny and she's just one of the girls, you know. She talks about serious things, she talks about more lighthearted things, and she also has a support group and a podcast. The support group you do have to pay for, just so you know, but it's available to you if you're interested. Next one is at basically Linda Belcher on TikTok, on Lemon8, on Facebook. Her name is Erica, and she is a friend of mine. I didn't want to get too into personal stuff in this video, but I feel the need to just share. She is such a sweet, warm person, and I know that if you ever reached out to her on a personal level, she would most likely respond and most likely have the most insightful, wonderful things to say. So just so you know about that, I put her under the categories of relatable skits and humor, think pieces, motivational stories, research. This girl comes through with the research. So if you're looking for solid research, articles, studies, yes. She's also part of the LGBTQIA+ community. and she is a parent. TikTok might be shutting down, right? It might already be shut down by the time this video goes up. But I'm really trying to encourage Erica to continue to make content. Obviously, it's her journey. She gets to decide. But for the sake of us all, it would be really nice. I want to inform you about how much her support means to me, how much her brain means to me, and her knowledge, and her kindness. And Erica, if you're watching, I love you. Thank you. And I'll talk to you some other way, so don't worry about it. But honestly, her content is very thought-provoking. If you're looking to change your perspective about things, or maybe even just gain a new perspective you never even had, check out at basically Linda Belcher. Next up is at Ben_Romeo1 on Instagram. This is Abby Romeo's brother, Ben. He's so much more than that. He is a person who has ADHD, and I put him under the categories of aesthetic and think pieces / vlog style. He makes really high quality, relatable stuff about ADHD and shares personal stories. And you know, he is a man. So sometimes it's good just to have that different perspective. I feel like a lot of times, at least the people that I follow are women or non-binary. So it's nice to get a different perspective sometimes. Next up is at Candy_Corn, COURN on Instagram. And I have them under aesthetic first because their house is beautiful. Their videos are beautiful. They edit in such a beautiful way. And their personal style is so beautiful. And so if you're looking for an aesthetic account, follow. But beyond that, Corn comes through with motivational stories, with think pieces and vlog style videos, really relatable stuff, and also research. She really comes through with the knowledge and the studies to support it. I also have them under the categories of research, POC, people of color, LGBTQIA+ community, and artists. Because Corn is really a genius creator. They dissect neurodevelopmental topics in the cutest, most easy to follow way. And they touch on so many topics, not just neurodivergence, also the perspective of being biracial and queer. So yeah, I would recommend this account to anybody who's looking for that perspective, but also to people who maybe have not thought about it before, because I think everybody needs a dose of that, a dose of somebody different than you. That made it sound like it was a prescription. The prescription is go touch grass and go learn about someone different than you. Okay, next up is at Mhahee, EMHAHEE on Instagram, TikTok. I know that she's more transitioning to Instagram now since TikTok is dying or is dead, I'm not sure. I have her under the categories of relatable skits and humor. She is so funny. Think pieces, vlog style, motivational stories, and artists. She is a musician, a very talented musician. Follow her on Spotify, actually, because wow, I have a lot of her music saved, and it's really sweet, beautiful sounding songs. And her lyrics, man, very relatable to everyone who's experienced the human experience. But then, of course, she has that perspective as an ADHDer, so someone who is autistic and also diagnosed ADHD. Okay, up next is at Hats by Abby. Obviously, she does not need any promo. One of the most well-known autistic women in the world, I would say. But I have to shout her out, not only because she's great and she's my client, but also because she provides and so bravely shares intimate parts of her life to be motivational to people, to make them think, and to just get a little glimpse into her life through vlog style videos and just her honesty. I think if people really knew Abby's story from the beginning, your respect for her would triple. This woman was non-speaking and limited speaking well into her teens. And now she's on one of the most popular reality shows on Netflix with her man and living her life in the most authentic way. Next is at I.am.mindblind. This is Amanda. Amanda is a creator on TikTok, YouTube. I'm not sure if she's on Instagram, but I think her biggest platform is YouTube. She's someone that I've followed for a long time, and she taught me about what mind blindness is. If that is a topic you are interested in, go check out Amanda's videos. I have her under the categories of think pieces and vlog style. She very authentically and vulnerably shares her life and makes you think about things that maybe you hadn't ever considered before. Also motivational stories, also research, and she's also a parent. So check her out if that's what you're looking for. Okay, next we have Kaylee at _K_hope_ on Instagram, TikTok. I have her under the categories of relatable skits and humor, aesthetic, think pieces, vlog, POC, and she is a parent. I think she's probably best known for her relatable, funny skits about her autistic child, but I also follow her for aesthetic inspiration. I mean, that's why I put it as one of the first categories for her. She serves fits, and she dives really deep into mental health and also being the parent of a neurodivergent person and protecting that person at all costs, and she is a really good follow. I would highly recommend. Up next we have at Kaylin VP on Instagram, another person on Netflix's Love on the Spectrum, another advocate, another author. She is someone that I put under the categories of support materials, groups, podcasts, apps, consultations, sensory resources, think pieces, blog style, and research. Kaylin does a fantastic job of bridging the gap between people who know nothing about neurodivergent people and people who are neurodivergent and are experiencing the things that she talks about. So I would recommend following her if you have someone in your life who you want to expose to informational videos that are clear, concise, and most likely will be convincing. Up next is Morgan Foley on Instagram, Morgan with 2 A's I'm seeing here. I have her under relatable skits and humor and motivational stories. She's an account that I consider to be like Ashra, where it feels like one of the girls to me. It's one of the parasocial relationships, another one that I have online. And she is very vulnerable about stuff she's experienced in the past. And like Ashra, like Kaylin, she is very clear with how experiences from her past affected her in that moment, continue to affect her, and how a neurodivergent person can be so confused by something that maybe a neurotypical person would consider just normal and part of societal expectations. But in reality, when you really pick them apart, it's like, why do we do that? Why would that make sense? It actually seems kind of cold and calculated and weird. So I really enjoy her perspective. It's taught me a lot. Up next is at My Autistic Soul on Instagram. This account is Oliver just sharing their life authentically, a lot of nature and books, aesthetic vibes, sometimes think pieces, sometimes vlog style, but mostly just like a very serene, calm follow. Would recommend for anyone trying to soothe the nervous system. Up next is Neuroclastic on Instagram. Neuroclastic defines themselves as a 501c3 collective of actually autistic people advocating for autistic representation and human rights. So I put them under the categories of support materials, groups, podcasts, apps, consultations, and research. If you're looking for research, I would highly recommend following this group. Okay, next is at Neurodivergent on Instagram and Twitter. This is under the category of think pieces, vlog style, research, artists, because this person is a writer. Their work really focuses on autism and anti-ableist practices. I think disability, the word and the topic itself, is discussed so much within this neurodiversity community and the neurodiversity support community. That word, sometimes people don't like to use it, and sometimes people feel they need it to get the supports that they need from the world. So I think Neurodifferent has a really unique perspective on it and is really articulate and is a good follow if you're hoping to develop your perspective on that more. Okay, up next is at neurodivergent_Lou on Instagram. I absolutely love this account, and I'll tell you what, they provide amazing visual depictions of complex topics. And those carousels that you see on Instagram, written carousels with visual support, I send them to people all the time. I'm like, hey, if you need to understand this topic, here, look at the way that Lou has curated all this information in an aesthetic, easy to read, nice way. They are also a motivational speaker. They go around speaking in events. So if you ever wanted to hire, would highly recommend. I have them under the categories of think pieces, vlog style, motivational stories, and research. Up next is at Nye.functioning.autism on Instagram. TJ is an educational consultant. She is a disability advocate. She is an AAC user. She is someone diagnosed with epilepsy, OCD, ADHD. So obviously she gives support materials, consultation. She's under that category for sure. I also put her under research and POC. But when I tell you that the category that should be the most convincing for you to follow this person is the think pieces. TJ has completely changed my perspective so many times. It's invaluable. I'm just going to give you an example of a way that one of her stories changed the way that I do therapy. And it is, she explained that a lot of people stim using light. And for instance, I have a light box over here. A lot of people take their fingers and kind of go like this, and they'll be finding shapes and playing with drawing with their fingers and the light. I have seen that so many different times in clients and not fully understood what it was. But because TJ articulated it and shared it, oh my gosh, it changed the way that I connect and see that behavior. And that's just one example. That is not even mentioning all the advocacy that she does for AAC use, how she has changed so many people's minds about AAC use and its importance and presuming competence. Anyways, I'm getting too excited because I love TJ. If there's anyone on this list that I would recommend for speech language therapists, follow TJ. Follow TJ. Okay, up next is at passport_speech on Instagram. Her name is Nikki. She's a speech therapist, a neurodivergent speech therapist, and I put her under the categories of support materials, groups, podcasts, apps, consultations, and also research. She has a Teachers Pay Teachers shop. She has free materials available, and she's also posting contents to help, again, bridge that gap between people who aren't as familiar with the neurodivergent community and neurodivergent people themselves. Same thing with at @RDorsey SLP. This is Rachel Dorsey. She is an autistic speech language therapist. She provides consultations and research. She's also made courses, and she prioritizes healing the community with love and acceptance. And it's a really beautiful follow. And the last one I have for today is at Trevor Carroll. I have Trevor under think pieces, vlog style, and motivational stories because Trevor makes content a lot of the time that's him talking to the camera, sharing an experience or sharing a characteristic that he has as an autistic person and diving deeper into the topic. I think most people really relate to Trevor. They find his content easy to follow. He's very articulate, and I would recommend it if you're looking for that male perspective. And, you know, it's not just about being neurodivergent. He also loves posting about gym and mental health, nature, and music as well. Okay, you guys, that's it for today. Like I said, all of these accounts and all the categories are listed on the Google Doc, link in bio. Also in my bio is a link to send me questions. If there's ever a topic you want me to address in this long form style video, please send them to me. I have a website that links to how to contact me, my social media, my free treatment materials, all about Support the Spectrum. So please head to my bio and you will get to my website and we'll just go from there. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate you being here with me and spending your time with me. What a valuable thing. I hope we can do it more.